Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, Friday, the 23rd of October 2015. This is John Faraclas from Allaboutshipping.co.uk with the latest on the markets and geopolitics affecting same. Let's start with the indexes. The BDI, the Baltic Dry Index, closed down 12 points at 774, which on the other hand is 20 points plus since last week's 754 points. Despite this little plus, it's still 1,500 points apart from the closing of December 2013, when the index stood at 2,274 points. So, where are the gurus? Where are the analysts? Where are those famous writers saying that the second quarter of 2014, that's last year, is going to be better? So, we have to be very serious and very proper and very professional on what we say to the ship owners, whether the ship owners are on the liner, shipping trade, or the Trump. That's very, very important. Now, the second important thing is that the BCI index was down again 51 points, showing yet the volatility of this size. It stood at 1,461, which on the other hand, due to the previous days' up and downs, it is 131 points from last week, where it stood at 1,380 points. The BPI, the Panamaxes, are favorable, and we believe it's the most important of all sizes, which sustains the trade. Was down just 2 points at 683, and overall 39 points down since last week's closing of 722 points. The Supras down just 1 point at 648 and down 10 points since last week's 658 points. That's a bit of a fall. And finally, the Handys just 3 points down at 362 and overall of 14 points since last week's 376 points. The Wets and the BTI, the BTTI, which is the Dirty Tanker Index, just 10 points down at 739 and overall 33 points since last week 772. And finally, the BCTI remained just on the same level of the previous closing at 777, just 2 points down, and it remained the same like last Friday's closing, i.e. 477. Not very good news here. The price of oil struggles in the region of $45, and this is now, an issue. The winter, despite the hurricanes, is not that cold yet, at least in the northern hemisphere. On the geopolitical front, one important issue that will bother us for the foreseeable future is that of the migrants. The migrants that are coming to Greece and Italy via Turkey and the northern coast of Africa, and in particular Libya. This is a very messy situation, and of course this is the pathetic Turkish response despite the visit of Chancellor Angela Merkel in Turkey. The Turks, they are trying to, in our view, in my personal view, they are trying to blackmail Europe again. So, of course, Turkey has not just 2 million, but 4 million migrants on its soil. And it is a dangerous issue. But they shouldn't allow them to come to the Greek islands and then to the mainland and then on to Europe. On this issue, we cannot see how come the islands, the Greek islands of the Eastern Aegean Sea, sustain so many migrants. Thousands of them. They come despite the worsening of the weather conditions. Can Turkey keep its border closed? Can they do it, or they do it on purpose? Okay, so they must get their act together, and we hope that the European countries too will become more humane and not raise walls and stoppages of these betrayed people from us, the humans. They are humans too, irrespective if we disagree in the way they come to Europe. They should stay close to the areas where they emanate from, which is Syria, Iraq, etc. And again, to read our previous reports of how these influxes come and how badly the Turkish policy is on this issue. Turkey itself, as we said, will have an election, and let's see how things go on from there. Iran must conform with the international community. You can read more there. In Greece, the austerity will bite, and of course, the government cannot deliver. Greece needs investments desperately, both from the locals, from the Greeks, and from abroad. It needs to see privatization, and of course, the Athens Stock Exchange to be the principal tool for improving our Greece's future. If this don't happen, and Syriza continue its pathetic populist policy, is going to be a big mess. And because the pensioners are suffering, we will begin with a Siemens Pension Fund, otherwise in Greece called NAT, who we don't hear good news coming of it. So hands off from NAT. Okay? This is very, very important. Other issues. We would like to see the German leaders treat better the migrants, okay? And the other leaders of Europe too. Importantly, we are going now to Ukraine, where the things are not very nice, and we hear of further sanctions from both sides there. This will go on, and of course, Mr. Putin will not give up, and we know that from now on. In China, the economic crisis under portas, you will read further in our written report. There was a visit of the leader in the UK, and Xi Jinping is trying, of course, his best. The Islamic State must be curbed at all costs. In South Africa, Zuma tried to freeze the students vis-a-vis there are expenses. They have protested, and that's the biggest concentration and demonstration of students since the apartheid ended in 1994. Nigeria, we have the latest bombings there again. That's not nice. Hurricanes in Central America, and of course very bad weather in Greece. We cannot accept in Greece the authorities of any party to find every single excuse from the chaos Athens and other regions there, particularly Hydra, have suffered. No excuses whatsoever. I think that the Attorney General in Greece should start an investigation for the last 41 years to see what each party did in supporting the population from these rainfalls and the effects. We know that well what has happened. So this is another issue there. We hope to see you all in Capital Link's CSR event on the 3rd of November, the 40th anniversary of Intermodal and other events. You can see them in the site there. And lastly, we had an interesting attendance at the fantastic delivery by Professor Fotiadis at the Hellenic Center in London on the genocide of the Pontian Greeks, and you can see it on other parts of the site. The Amber Awards in Athens was a great event. And finally, we continue to invite you to visit Greece to balance the damage that the country has suffered. And of course, we suggest you go this time to Ios and or to Milos Islands, Great Islands. On international travel, try Argentina, a great place to be. Most of these things you can read them in our written report. And of course, talking about tourism, on the 2nd of November, we will begin the World Travel Market at Excel in London, and we hope to see you in force all there. Finally, the last thing is we have to tackle cybercrime. It's not good news there, and we have to ask all the nations to cooperate on this issue. This is John Faraclas from allaboutshipping.co.uk. Wish you a lovely weekend. Over and out.